Hello, you beautiful people, my name is Matt, and today we're gonna talk about game design. As some of you might know, for the past couple of years I've been designing and refining my own storytelling RPG, and it's coming fairly close to being released. It will be available for free on my Patreon. So I guess I'm a game designer now, and I've also been playing games and especially video games basically all my life, which probably doesn't make me an expert, but I sure have an opinion or two on the matter. Regardless of opinion, there are some simple unwritten laws that most games follow. If you miss one of these in your game, it either needs a rather special concept or it will fall apart. For example, and this is the most obvious thing, a game should aim to either be fun and make you feel good, give you a sense of achievement, or convey a story, ideally all at once. If it does neither of these things, there's a very high chance people won't like it. And by the way, if you're currently playing a game that does neither of these things for you, then you should probably consider stopping to play it because it's not good for you. Another rule almost all games follow is a game should have a difficulty curve and a learning curve, lest it becomes boring very quickly. And this is where I want to tell you a little funny story. A couple of weeks ago I caught tickets to the Backstreet Boys reunion tour, and if you get that reference, put your favorite Aaron quote in the comments. What I'm saying is, I got down with the sickness. You know what I mean? Hold on. Can I say COVID now? Or Corona? Might get demonetized. Well, I'm not fucking earning any money with this anyway. Okay, so I caught COVID and I was mildly sick for 2 weeks. It really wasn't that big of a deal, it wasn't bad fortunately, but unfortunately it also didn't go away completely, which is known as long COVID. I just had no energy for weeks, and all I could do after work was sit around and relax, trying to deal with headaches and tiredness. Which is also one of the reasons there has been less content on this channel for the past couple of months. What I did a lot during that time was play a little relaxing game called Dorfromantik. I actually presented this game before on this channel because you can make pretty neat regional maps with it. I'll put that video in the end card in case you're interested. However, the game has one major flaw in that it disregards the rising difficulty thing. Well, kind of. You start out with 50 tiles or so, and once you've placed them all, the game will be over. Whenever you manage to match all the edges of a tile with adjacent ones, it's considered a perfect placement and you get one tile back. There are also quests that you can complete, like put down 20 houses in one spot. So in theory, you should run out of tiles at some point, so there's kind of a difficulty curve. Now, I wouldn't say that I'm particularly good at the game, but apparently I got good enough, or maybe lucky enough, to somehow get past that stage. Basically, my map had gotten big enough so that I could mostly place perfect tiles. And this is not even the problem. The problem is that the quests seem to keep coming in the same frequency as before, which provides me with a steady stream of tiles while I'm effectively not losing any tiles to imperfect placements, meaning that at some point you will start gaining tiles instead of losing them. The game can never end. At this point, my map is so big, my PC can barely handle it, even though it's fairly good. Especially if I try to connect something to the forest that is 22,000 trees. I've been growing this one board for weeks. So I was like, hey, that's pretty neat. I'm already rank 50 on a worldwide ladder. Maybe I can hit the #1 spot and actually become the world best at something. Wouldn't that be cool? Well, it won't happen. Most likely everyone else in the top 100 or so is experiencing the same issue. And the first guy has a map 4 times the size of mine, and like I said, I've been playing this single board for weeks. So long actually that everyone else has already moved on to a different ranked ladder, while I'm basically still playing the alpha ladder because I'm stuck there. I simply don't have the time to catch up by investing 4 times the playtime. What I'm trying to showcase with this little story is that a game shouldn't reward the player who has the most time, but the one who's best at it. Committing time to training is a different thing because you're actually becoming better than others. But in the case of Dorfromantik, time is the winning condition. And that's bad. In a way, it's almost the same as pay to win, because you know what they say, time is money. Of course, it's not as bad as a game that's trying to drag the money out of your pockets, but from a gameplay standpoint it's a similar thing in that the player who commits the most real-life resources wins the game, which is never a good system. So when you're making a game, keep in mind to make it progressively become harder, especially if it's a high-score driven game. As always, when I criticize something, I like to provide a fix or something that would be better in my personal opinion. In this case, it's actually super easy. As time goes on, or with the placement of every tile, the chances of getting a quest tile need to become smaller and smaller. So effectively, every game will end at some point, unless you only place perfect tiles, which is borderline impossible. They have actually thrown in a hard mode, which has less quests, but I believe it's just harder, not actually providing less quests over time. Now, I'm really not a programming guy and I suck at maths, but I think I can even provide a coding solution. The game is counting tiles anyway, it even remembers the order in which they were placed, as you can see every time you load up the game. So you just need to take that number, divide it by 100 or so, and lower the chance of receiving a quest by that number. So now, for every 100 tiles I place, the chance for a quest goes down by 1%. Like this, every game would have an end, and the number one player would actually be the best, and not the one with the most time. All that being said, and with all the critique, I can still totally recommend this game to everyone, so definitely go check it out. It doesn't cost much, it's great and relaxing, and you're actually creating regional maps that you can use for other stuff, like RPG adventures or a story you're writing. I am currently using a map for a campaign and it's working really well. However, to make a good looking and usable map, you need to play the game a little differently. So here's the video I mentioned earlier that shows you how to do it, and if you liked today's video, you'll probably like my reviews for Elden Ring and Lost Ark. I messed up my OBS settings so the videos have a bit of a low bitrate, but other than that, I'm pretty happy with how they turned out. Lastly, if you want to support me, get some bonus material, and check out my game once it comes out, you can join me on Patreon. That's all for today, stay safe, have a wonderful time, Muffin out.